G'day everyone, Chris here from Primac Sports with the Round 3 Super Rugby preview. Round 2, as we recapped in the power rankings, was an interesting round, a few upsets there that certainly went against the expectations of a number of people, including us, but we managed to nail a few of our tips, so pretty happy with our start of the season so far. Alright, the first game of round 3, we've got the Blues and the Hurricanes. Friday night, should be an absolute cracker. The Hurricanes haven't started the season the best possible way. They've gone 0-2, but they haven't faced the easiest draw in saying that with the Brumbies and the Highlanders, the opposition they've come up against so far. The Blues, on the other hand, they've rolled the Highlanders in round 1. They've crashed back to earth last week against the Crusaders and certainly are looking like a bit of a hot and cold outfit, which is probably what many predicted for this season, so it's really more of a reflection of their true form line. The Blues have been led by 2 strong performances by Ohio West, and with names like Rene Ranger and Charlie Falmer-Winter in their starting lineup, you certainly can't write them off at any point. Similarly, the Hurricanes have a strong lineup with the likes of Nehe Milner-Skudder, Bowden Barrett and Julian Savea in their team. Certainly an impressive strike force to hold any backline, as well as Corey Jane on the bench. They've really struggled to put 80-minute performances together thus far in their first 2 games, and if they can do that, they're certainly going to be a different outfit. They sorely missed Milner-Skudder last week, and his impact that he provides to the team. They can welcome him back fighting fit, and I'll look for them to upset the Blues, and I've got the Hurricanes 1-12 in the first matchup of the weekend. Second up on Friday night, we've got the Force and the Brumbies over there in Perth. You'd have to be absolutely off your rocker to be tipping against the Brumbies at the moment. They've comfortably disposed of 2 sides that many are expecting to feature heavily in finals football, in the Hurricanes and the Waratahs, and have barely broken a sweat in doing so. Force were fairly impressive against the Reds last week in keeping them tryless, but managed to only cross for 1 try of their own, and that was in the 80th minute as it was. So, there'll certainly be some questions asked of Michael Foley and as to their attacking potency. I really think they're missing Kyle Godwin at the moment, and he'd certainly be a good addition when he eventually does return from injury in a couple of weeks. The Brumbies will be too strong here. Their midfield of Lealiafano, Matt Tamua, Tavita Kuridrani is just absolute strike force. I can't see any other side in the competition that offers quite as much through the midfield as them. And I think those 3 guys will be orchestrating the 3rd straight win, and by a couple of tries, the Brumbies by 13 plus for me. First up on Saturday afternoon, we've got the Highlanders versus the Lions. Now, the Highlanders were mediocre in round 1 against the Blues, and the Blues deservedly got the win. They were lucky to escape last week with a victory against the Highlanders with a late penalty goal. And with a lineup led by Aaron and Ben Smith, featuring the names like Lima Sopawanga and Malachi Fekatoa, there's just no excuse for the sort of output they've been putting on the paddock so far this season. I think they'll turn it up another gear here against the Lions. Now the Lions, they had an upset win against the Chiefs last week and showed that they can mix it with the good sides over on tour there in New Zealand. I just think it's been a long trip for them thus far, and they're going to really battle to continue on. They've already been over to Japan, then been in New Zealand for a couple of weeks. It's really going to start to take its toll. They haven't been home for a couple of weeks now, I would imagine, so it's certainly going to be starting to tire. Living on the road's not quite the same as it is having the opportunity to sleep in your own bed as preparation for the games. I just don't think that the Lions will be able to match it with the Highlanders, even if the Highlanders only do manage to kick it into that 4th gear. If the Highlanders go all the way to full strength and full output, then they'll certainly win comfortably, but I still think they'll get this one done. 13 plus with the All Black contingent to lead the way. Second up on Saturday evening, we've got the Rebels hosting the Reds in Melbourne. Now, the Reds have had an eventful week. Finally gotten rid of Richard Graham as coach, which, I can't hear too many people saying it was the wrong idea. Most people are saying it's 6 to 12 months too late, realistically. He's really made it a tough proposition for those guys coming in to step in as caretaker coaches for him. The players really need to take this opportunity to step up and take some control. This is a new opportunity for them. It's a clean slate almost. Of course, they've still got those 2 losses on the board, but it is a clean slate and a start for them, and an opportunity for guys who haven't been in the starting lineup, who've been on the fringe, to really earn their positions and stake a claim going forward for future contracts should either of these co-coaches be appointed as head coach. Interesting choice straight up. They've benched Ayumu Goromaru, who looked like he was the only bloke that actually wanted to be there last week. Carmichael Hunt's gone back to 15. They're obviously confident that that's his best position. There have been many questions about the players' abilities and temperaments that'll be answered this weekend by their performances. The Rebels, meanwhile, they'll be on the alert for a rejuvenated Red side. They'll look to build on their second half display last week against the Bulls in South Africa, where they chalked up 4 late tries. Unfortunately, it was a little too late after they'd absolutely let the floodgates open in the first half, and the Bulls managed to get away with that one. I really expect their old heads to lead again. They've shown that they're going to be the guys that put their hands up week in, week out, and James Hanson, Adam Thompson, those experienced forwards, really lead the way for a few young guys and lay a bit of a platform for the Rebels' young halves and outside backs. Look for Tom English to step up and make a bit more of an impact going forward as well. I think the Rebels will get this done, but the Reds will bounce back a bit with the changing of coach, and the Rebels will be 1-12 here for mine. Next up, we've got the Sunwolves and the Cheetahs. Both these sides battling away, only have one competition point between them for the 3 matches. The Cheetahs travel over to Singapore for the first time. The Sunwolves have hosted a game in Singapore, so it'll be interesting to see the crowd response and how they turn out and support as their second city there for the Sunwolves. It'll be interesting to see if they further gel as well. The Sunwolves have only had that one run together in a shortened pre-season after everything took a long time to get together for them to organise their squad. I think the Cheetahs will battle to execute for the full 80 minutes, but fortunately for them, they're coming up against a weaker opposition and they may not require that sort of output. Look for the centre pairing of William Small-Smith and Francois Venter to really get the job done here for the Cheetahs. I think the Cheetahs will get home, but I don't expect it to be a cakewalk. I expect the Japanese outfit to put up a bit of opposition. Cheetahs 1-12 for Primac Sport. Next up, we've got the Kings and the Chiefs. The Kings have been absolutely diabolical in their first hit out. Looked like it was touch football for the Sharks, who nearly posted the half-ton. They've had the week off to regather and try and gel a little bit more and get their organisation sorted. Another home game for them, hosting the Chiefs, who are coming back from a loss to the Lions at home, which won't be sitting too well with the guys from Waikato. And with names like Brody Retallick, Tawira Kerr-Barlow, Aaron Crude and Charlie Nagatai, they've really got to step up and deliver. They just won't lay down. I expect them to bounce back a bit here. It may be a bit of a tough trip though, I think. I think the Kings might put up a little bit more fight than they certainly showed in round 1. And it certainly looks to be a high-scoring affair. Didn't like that the Chiefs were worried too much about defence last week in a game that had nearly 70 points. And as I said, the Kings leaked 50 in their first game on. So we're certainly looking at high scoring. If the Kings can get their backline firing and get across the stripe a couple of times, I think the Chiefs will match them. We've got the Chiefs 1-12 in this one. Alright, the last match up, this is match of the round for me. 2 South African heavyweights in the Stormers and the Sharks clashing at Newlands. The Sharks have been impressive, only shaded really by the Brumbies. I guess that's because of the Sharks' opposition they've come up against so far. They've certainly, obviously, as I said, the Kings was their first hit out. They absolutely put them to the sword. Jaguares last week was a solid win, but I guess the question is, we really don't have a form line on the Jaguares to be able to put a real value on that win for them. I'm certainly looking again here for the likes of Willie LaRue, Joe Peterson, Marcel Coetzee and Kearney Oosthuizen to step up and really show another gear that they might have. Willie LaRue's been very impressive as an attacking force, and certainly his positional play and kicking game has been strong as well in the early weeks. So it'll be interesting to see against a fellow dominant South African side in the Stormers how they do perform. It's a similar story for the Stormers. They hold home ground advantage here at Newlands. They've taken down a lacklustre Bulls so far and then a disappointing Cheetahs last week. I mean, when they took down the Bulls, obviously no Andre Pollard for the Bulls this season. And the Cheetahs, they're missing a number of players, including the aforementioned Oosthuizen, LaRue and Peterson, who've all crossed town to the Sharks. This is going to be a real litmus test for the Stormers and the Sharks. I expect the Stormers will try and take the Sharks in the tight 5 where they'll feel their strength is. They'll occasionally snipe out wide just to see what's going on out there and see if there's any opportunities, but they'll certainly concentrate the majority of their force to that tight 5 and the set piece, I believe. I like the Sharks here in an arm wrestle. I think they pack a bit more punch in the back line. It's probably a break even in the loose forwards, and they're only just shaded by the Stormers in the tight 5 thanks to Eben Etzbeth. So as such, I think overall package, the Sharks offer a little bit more strike force. Look for Willie LaRue to star and the Sharks 1-12. Thanks again for tuning in to our third weekly wrap on the Super Rugby. Good luck on the punt this weekend. Let us know below in the comments what your thoughts are on our tips. Let us know your tips as well. Keep tuning in. Give us some likes, give us some shares. Let your friends know. We appreciate all the feedback we can get. Thanks again, guys, and good luck.